All right, does anybody else need some help with cheese curds? Yep. All right, okay, so $6, please.
Daily.
All right, okay.
Two orders?
You got it. Yep, 2 orders. That's it. All right. Hello, how can I help you? 2.93 and 94, and there's your change. All right, so Sam, make that one more.
So that's 3 orders, right, Logan?
That's 4 now.
4 now, all right.
Yep. All right, we're up to 5, Sam.
Huh?
We're up to 5.
5, all right.
There you go. Have a great day. Hello, how can I? Oh, hey, Sam, the viewers are here.
What?
The viewers are here.
Oh, we'll be right out.
Yeah.
I'm Samuel Temple.
I'm Logan Ledman.
This month on 1855, we're tracing the history of one of Faribault's most influential families and the invention that cemented their name in the hearts and minds of the American people.
Every town has a claim to fame. Detroit, Michigan, the automobile. Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, the airplane. Faribault, Minnesota, the Tilt-A-Whirl. And the Henry Ford or Wright brothers of the Tilt-A-Whirl is the Sellner family, which came to Faribault in the 1880s, beginning with Frederick Sellner.
Frederick was a furniture maker born in Pomerania, what is now called Germany. He immigrated to America, and in 1889, he was delivered a son by the stork. His offspring, Herbert W. Sellner, was the third of 9 Sellner children. The 6th was his more business-inclined brother, Martin. All 9 children, save for Frederick, who died at a young age, helped Herbert at some point in his business ventures.
This is the classic story of immigration. The first generation, Frederick, worked tirelessly to provide a future and a foundation for the second generation, Herbert and Martin.
One of Herbert's earliest business ventures took the shape of the Sellner Woodcraft Company in 1912. This business occupied the same space as the original Fleckenstein Brewery, which is now the Caves of Faribault. It was sold in 1914 to the Peterson Art Furniture Company, which is still downtown today. It is the building with the people skating on the Straight River on it.
That same year, the Ideal Lamp Manufacturing Company was formed. Outside of Ideal lamps, it also produced toys, sleds, and tricycles. This is early proof that Herbert had a passion for creating things that would bring others joy, especially young children.
Despite Herbert's enthusiasm, the tragic outbreak of World War I meant the U.S. was in dire need of resources, putting a strain on small businesses like the Ideal Lamp Manufacturing Company. It was dissolved in 1921.
Herbert, ever the tinkerer, once again decided to take this defeat as an opportunity to try something new. He designed and erected diving boards and then created a water toboggan slide on Roberts Lake. Roberts Lake, some of you may know, is where the annual boat parade takes place. Herbert's water toboggan is like the slide ride behind me right now, except the riders would then be propelled up to 100 feet along water in a buoyant sled. It's what most historians claim to be the first water slide.
Herbert then made the water wheel, and it's about what you'd expect. It's a wheel that drops you into the water. On a wheel, this was fun, but the water wheel was Herbert's first excursion into the world of rotating entertainment.
Herbert experimented with the idea of a water-based merry-go-round, but for various reasons it didn't quite pan out. The concept of his next and most famous invention came one day when he was playing with his son Arthur. Legend has it that one day Arthur was placed atop a chair on a kitchen table by his father, and he was being rocked to and fro. When Herbert realized how much fun the child was having, he noted the interactions between the chair and the table's surface, and he focused his next product around that. That product eventually became known as the Tilt-A-Whirl. It went on to become one of the most famous amusement rides in the history of the known universe. This is the Tilt-A-Whirl.
In the invention of the ride, Herbert utilized the theory of chaos. Now, he wasn't aware of the theory itself, but he understood its principles. You see, the Tilt-A-Whirl doesn't obey set patterns or tracks. It is the essence of chaos.
I'm still not clear on chaos.
Oh. Now, Logan, the chaos theory, simply deals with unpredictability in complex systems. Its only principle is the butterfly effect, and that simply is a butterfly can flap its wings in the same area campus, and in Central Park you get rain instead of sunshine. Now, here, give me a bottle of Pepsi. Now, I'm going to take a drop of Pepsi, and I want you to see which way it rolls on your hands, all right? Will it roll to the side, down your hand, over the thumb? Let's find out. All right, it went that way. Now, hold it in the exact same place, and we'll see which way it goes. All right, some of it went that way. Now I'm going to do it again. Now, which way do you think it is going to go?
The same way.
Yeah, you think it's going to go the same way? Same way, all right. Oh, see, it changed and went down that way. Why? Because, and here is the principle of tiny variations, the orientation of the hairs, the amount of blood descending in your vessels, imperfections in the skin.
Oh, imperfections.
Microscopic. Never repeat, and yet vastly affect the outcome. That is what?
Unpredictability?
That is the chaos theory. And Logan, even if we can't see it, I'm quite certain it's happening in this Tilt-A-Whirl right now. That every variation in speed sorry, a little Jeff Goldblum in my throat. Every variation in speed, the weight of the passengers, how they shift, it's all the essence of chaos.
Geez, Sam. Herbert built the first Tilt-A-Whirl in 1925 in the conjoined backyards of the Sellner family and their neighbors, the Chapmans. The ride was trademarked the following year, 1926, and the first one was sold to an amusement park on White Bear Lake for $4,500. That's $60,000 almost in 2016 money. That single ride alone made $30,000 or almost $400,000 today in its first year. It made its debut at the Minnesota State Fair in 1927.
That same year, Herbert was very sick with terminal leukemia. Martin, who also never stopped working on a variety of business projects, had just sold a newspaper he owned, the Sanford Press, to the Faribault Daily News. So when his ill brother asked him for help with the Sellner Manufacturing Company, he was more than willing to oblige. In 1927, the Sellner Manufacturing Company was formed, with Martin serving as vice president / treasurer and Herbert serving as president. The two brothers collaborated to create the perfect image of their father, the beautiful blend of creative, inventive spirit manifested by Herbert, and the industrial, entrepreneurial character carried by Martin.
Even in the final years of his life, Herbert continued dreaming up inventions. In 1928, he invented the swooper, which was essentially an oval Ferris wheel with quick, thrilling swoops at the short end of each oval. It didn't catch on, so only 15 were made. Herbert succumbed to his illness on April 22nd, 1930, at age 43. His wife Frida became president of the company, and Martin stayed as general manager. The spirit of invention ran in the Sellner blood. Herbert's son, Walter, redesigned the Tilt-A-Whirl to house 7 cars instead of 9, which is the model still used today. He was only 20 years old and already honoring his deceased father's legacy.
Because of the company's success in the 1920s, the Great Depression did not greatly affect it. However, when World War II rolled around, there was a 3-year halt in production. Herbert's sons, Walter and Arthur, had joined the ranks of the company, but Art went off to be part of the war effort, like so many of Sellner's employees.
It was once said that the Tilt-A-Whirl is to Faribault what the automobile is to Detroit. And much like how the Ford assembly lines were renovating during World War II to build aircraft for the U.S. Army, the Sellner Manufacturing Company built bomb carts and stored grain.
Arthur, after returning from war, was mentored by Martin until the latter's retirement in 1961 when the former took over his duties. In the 1970s and 80s, company president Bruce Sellner invented new spin rides such as Spin the Apple, Merry-Go-Round, and Dizzy Dragons. He followed his grandfather's footsteps of taking the current state of entertainment and making it his own.
New ride ideas were also necessary because Tilt-A-Whirls were built to last, meaning once traveling carnival companies or amusement parks bought theirs, there was a seldom need for replacement parts or new rides. Some from the 1940s and 1950s are still in operation, and even an original from 1927.
Bruce Sellner passed away prematurely at the age of 44, only 1 year older than Herbert was when he died. He also died within months of Arthur and Walter's deaths. Much like how Frida carried the torch after Herb's passing, Tova, Bruce's wife, took over as chair of the board of directors in 1995. Erin, their daughter, became president and business manager in this time of great grieving for the Sellner family.
Never staying down for long, the Sellner family began dusting themselves off and innovating once again. Rainbow Rock, an obstacle course, and several variations on spin rides began production. But just as the Sellners got back on their feet, America took a series of cataclysmic blows.
The terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001 shook the country financially and emotionally. Hurricane Katrina uprooted the very ground we stood on and drained the nation's resources. Finally, in 2008, the economic collapse pounded a stake in the heart of small business. The Sellner Manufacturing Company did everything they could and eventually merged with Larson International, the world's largest amusement ride company, to remain afloat.
The Sellner business legacy has never been lost, locally or nationally. The fiberglass and paint departments of the manufacturing company are still in town, meaning that Faribault still partially produces Tilt-A-Whirls, and many Sellner-run businesses are still in operation. Tova and Erin also made it their mission to find all employees who may have been laid off during the merger new jobs. And many perfected the craft that they had learned at the company and started their own small businesses. In fact, the signs on some of the cheese curd stands you saw us in earlier were made by Sellner employees, as were our hats. The Sellner legacy remains on the rides also, as the family name continues to be printed on the rides. There are two totems to the Sellner family in downtown Faribault. One is the mural on 4th Street on the Jim's Auto and Tire building, and the other is the recently restored Tilt-A-Whirl car that is on display during the warm season. The car was restored by Rick's Restoration, a restoration business focused in Las Vegas that is the subject of the hit History Channel television series American Restoration.
But more than that, more than any painting or restored car, the legacy of Herbert Sellner and his family lives in all enterprising children. Reading about Henry Ford and Thomas Edison in school, they read about innovators that, above all else, worked to bring what they envisioned to the world. So many yearn to be the next Henry Ford, but so few strive to be the next Herbert Sellner, for his legacy is one not seen. His legacy is sticking to family and working tirelessly for what he believed in. Because when Herbert Sellner chose to pursue his industrial dream, he didn't go to Chicago or Detroit or New York. Herbert Sellner stuck to family. When wanting to pursue their dream and imprint their message on the American people, the Sellners chose Faribault. Logan and I would like to thank the staff of the Rice County Fair for letting us film there.
We'd like to thank the Rice County Historical Society for their contributions to this episode.
And Herb Sellner for donating that footage you saw at the end to the Rice County Historical Society, so we were able to use that.
Really? Herb Sellner?
Herb Sellner, his descendant is named Herb Sellner.
Oh, that's cool.
It is.
Yeah. Rainy.
Yeah, it rained.
So we can't sit in it, but it's made for people much smaller than us anyways.
Well, actually, this is a normal size Tilt-A-Whirl car.
Is it really?
Yeah, they restored it. That's what it means.
Well, but like, it could...
No.
Could you really fit two people in this?
Yeah.
Seems like there's a lot of space back here, but not a lot of space here.